Guys, I cannot believe you chose Pooh versus Bambi. If you didn't see, I made a poll out of the suggested comics that you guys left me in my comment section. When I made that poll, I didn't know what I expected, but I definitely didn't think that Pooh versus Bambi was gonna win. No shade, I just wasn't expecting, you know? Now, if you didn't know, back in 2022, Winnie the Pooh went into the public domain, which means that anybody can use him creatively. And boy howdy, have people been using him. I think everybody knows about Pooh, Blood and Honey, which is sitting at a whopping 3% on Rotten Tomatoes. So, you know, they're doing it justice. And the worst part about that is, it's still got a freaking sequel. Bambi has also been in the public domain, but I don't think people seem to care as much. I mean, because nobody's really been using them as creatively as Winnie the Pooh. That is until today. That's right, buckle up, because this is definitely a lot different from the Wizard of Oz comic. So without any further ado, let's dive into issue 1 of Pooh versus Bambi! The issue starts somewhere deep in the 100-acre woods, and we hear a soldier say, "Chief, I got movement." Why did I say soldier? It looks like, oh shit, it looks like one of our boys. I think that's Caleb from the North Outpost. Son of a bitch. Get 2 guys out there and bring his ass inside. Now, I'll rail the others. We got a situation out here at the main wall, requesting backup immediately. But then there's some static, and he says, "What the hell?" We see 2 men to go out there to try to help Caleb. They ask him what happened to him, and he just says, "Monsters." And then he explodes! And then we see... Yo, is that freaking Eeyore? And Tigger, what did they do to my man, bro? What did they do to Tigger, dog? Holy shit. God, I love this comic book company. Zenoscope, you deserve all the love in the world. Oh God, look at what they're doing to these beloved characters. Anyway, we see Seal Pooh 6, and Bambi says, "Is that our cue?" And Pooh says,
"I think it is. Sounds like the hive is open, boys. Now let's get some honey."
Am I gonna commit to this voice? Pooh lands on a guy and hucks some grenades behind him. Bambi says he could feel the heat off that one, but a bullet flies by his head and hits a soldier in the head. And Pooh says, "Did you feel the heat off that one too?" He says that was a damn good save. It looks like they're ready for round 2. They grip each other up and say, "Of course, pincer strike. I go right, you go left." And we meet in the middle. We cut to a few firefights later, and we see Pooh catching up to Bambi. Turns out Bambi made it to the target before Pooh did. And Pooh overhears him questioning someone. The guy says they still haven't been able to replicate what it is. The only Violet they have is the original. Bambi says there better not be more, and the scientist says, "You gotta believe me." And Bambi says, "I do," and breaks his neck. Pooh rushes in and says, "Hey, what the hell are you doing? General Robin said to bring him back alive." But Bambi says, "General Robin's been lying to us." Pooh says, "Oh, says who? The evil scientist that we were sent to arrest?" Bambi then asks him if he remembers anything from their childhood. But Pooh's kind of freaking out. He thinks that Bambi's brain got right out from the explosion from earlier. But Bambi tells him to answer the question. Pooh says that they didn't have a childhood because they were grown in test tubes. But Bambi says, "Then what the hell is this?" As we see top secret files with all their names in it. And Bambi says, "That's our childhood, Pooh. We weren't made in a lab. We were stolen from our homes, our families. We were cut open and violated, turned into weapons. They wiped our memories clean so they could use us. And they're gonna keep using us again and again for as long as they want." He gets interrupted by soldiers coming in, and Bambi rushes them and skewers them right through the skull with his antlers. I feel like that's a little aggressive, don't you think? Like, I feel like shooting them would have been easier. Pooh asked, "What if this is a psyop? You don't know. We should take it back to base and get it authenticated." But Bambi says we're not going back there anymore because we can't trust him. But Pooh isn't convinced. He says that General Robin is a good man, and if they can trust anyone, it's him. And if he comes with, they can get to the bottom of this. But then Bambi tells him to follow him. He takes him into a lab and he says, "You see that vial over there? It contains enhanced DNA. Our DNA. This is what makes us, us. This is what the government developed and turned us into freaks." And he says if they lied to us about how they were made, what else could they be lying to us about? He continues to say that the government said that this mission was to stop eco-terrorists, but the science they were stopping were actually defectors. They were planning to make more of the DNA so they could sell it to other countries so that they could have animal super soldiers just like them. This was never about saving the world. It's about protecting the government's interests. He tells Pooh to think about what they could do with this. Their power in their hands. But Pooh, he says, "Bambi, whatever this is, stop it." But Bambi pleads with him. He says, Pooh, you're my best friend in the whole world. Or at least that's what I think. But maybe I was only made to think that. And he doesn't know what's real anymore. But Pooh says, I'm real, okay? Let's just get the others and talk to Robin. But Bambi says no, because he's part of the problem. How can you still side with him after all of this? Pooh says it's because he's his friend. They both are. And he doesn't want that to stop, so he wants to figure it out together. But Bambi says he's done with Robin, and he's done with humans. He wants to take it all back and set things right. But Pooh says he can't. So Bambi's done with him too. Bambi says he's lucky to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard. Pooh says don't do it, and Bambi rushes him. But there's a big bang, and we see Pooh shoot Bambi in the head. And when Bambi falls, Pooh wails out a no. Jesus Christ. I thought this was gonna be funny, not tragic as fuck. I thought this was gonna be like... I honestly don't know what I thought this was gonna be like. I didn't think it was gonna be like fucking Captain America and the Winter Soldier-esque bullshit. Hey, just 1 second. I just want you to take this 1 second to just subscribe, okay? That's all I want from you, okay? Thank you so much. Thank you so much, pretty eyes. Back to the video. We then cut to somewhere in the Appalachian wilderness where we see Pooh, and he's kind of let himself go. He wipes the honey off his face and he says, oh bother. Some time has passed since then, and he hasn't been sleeping because he's haunted by what happened. He's been on the run ever since that day at the compound. They got an anonymous tip saying that the higher-ups are going to recycle them. Apparently Bambi's situation caused some concern amongst the financiers, and they were now viewed as loose ends that need to be cut. Before they even landed, their armed escort turned on them and opened fire. But after they fought back, they took over the plane and got parachutes and all went their separate ways. The files they found were never authenticated, but the government's reaction only proved Pooh's suspicions, that Bambi was right. Pooh knows if they find him, they'll kill him. He's trying to keep a low profile and keep moving, until they hopefully forget about him. Pooh grabs some food from the garbage and starts to wander in the woods, until he runs into a deer. He says hi to the deer, and the deer responds by traumatizing the shit out of him. Pooh then hears a scream, and when he turns around, he sees a father and a son hunting. The dad asks what the son is screaming at, but he starts to freak out too when he sees Pooh. They call him a monster, and that kind of pisses off Pooh, because he starts to growl at them, and he roars to scare them away. Unfortunately for him, that kid was recording on his phone. The two run away, and Pooh says, so much for keeping a low profile. It's time for him to move on to the next small town. It's only a matter of time before every news camera comes out there trying to get a glimpse of him. And attention is the last thing that my guy needs. So he needs to skedaddle. He starts looking for his stuff, and when he finds it, something trips the alarm that he set up. And then Pooh gets attacked by these green Power Ranger looking motherfuckers. He tries to shoot him to defend himself, but the bullets fly straight past him. One of them jumps right onto him and plants something on him. And then when she lands, she says, too easy. Also, come on, dude, really? You got her doing the Jacko pose? It may be a different comic, but these guys are staying true to their nature. Anyway, the titty beads on Pooh start beeping and they shock the crap out of him. He falls on the ground and they're about to hit him with an electric sword, but he catches their hand. Pooh says, you think this is a game? Well, I'm not playing! And he picks her up and hits the others with her and throws them into a tree. They gasp because Pooh freaking kingpin slams them. Pooh asks them why they're here, and she says, up yours. Who you working for? And she says, get stuff, as she takes her helmet off. He says, fine, be that way, when they both notice the gun on the ground. They both rush for it, and the blonde girl gets the gun first. She tells him to say her prayers, but I think she forgot that Pooh had 2 guns! Suddenly a big gust of wind hits Pooh as a helicopter approaches. He gets surrounded by more agents, and they tell Agent Piglet to stand down. Wait, hold on. That's Piglet? No freaking way that's Piglet. I refuse to believe that. Where's the resemblance? God damn, bro, they got Piglet hitting the Jacko. Anyway, Pooh says, General Robin, and Robin says, silly old bear. And that is where the issue ends. And I gotta say, this is 10,000 times better than Pooh Blood and Honey. I honestly didn't think this comic was gonna be that serious. I thought there was gonna be like some sort of betrayal, but I didn't think it was gonna be like engrossing, you know? I also didn't think it was gonna be this violent. Like, I knew that they were gonna shoot people because there's a gun on the cover, but also at the same time, like, bro, stabbing people through the skull with his antlers? What the fuck? If you want me to cover part 2, get this video to 60 likes. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on part 2 when that comes out. But that's all I got for today. I'll see you guys in the next one. And make sure you tell your family that you love them. Bye-bye now.